I'm here to tell you why time is your best weapon when dealing with difficult children. As he said, I worked in a children's mental health facility for 10 years, and the age group was around... Help! Can I restart? I figured that was going to happen. Thank you. My name is Mark Paralovos, and I'm here to tell you why time is the best weapon when dealing with difficult children. I worked in a children's mental health facility for 10 years, and the age group that I was dealing with was generally 4-year-olds to around 13 years old. As you can imagine, bedtime was a really tough issue with kids like that, and they were also very violent. Kicking, hitting, spitting, punching, biting, you name it, I dealt with the behavior. I've had kids spit in my face, bite my hand, I have a scar. So when I first started, I thought that being loud and clear and concise was the best way to get kids to do what I wanted them to do. And I found out pretty quickly that kids react exactly the same way adults react when you're loud and clear and concise. They don't like it very much. So I needed to change. Professionally, I needed to do things differently. One night I was sitting outside of Johnny's room. Johnny's not his real name. And Johnny liked to leave his room, run up and down the halls at bedtime, knock on kids' doors, go into kids' rooms, pull them out of their beds, and generally be disruptive and not very nice. Instead of being my loud, clear, concise self, I said to Johnny, I'm not going to leave right here, and I'm going to help you make a better choice. I'm not going to let you make a bad choice and disrupt all of these other kids, but I'm going to let you and help you make a better choice. And I behaved like I had all the time in the world. I sat there, and I sat there, and I sat there. And guess what? It worked. It took 4 hours, but it still worked. This is before smartphones, so it was a really long 4 hours that first night. So it was not a fast process. It was a really slow process. But I realized very quickly that I was laying the groundwork, not just for Johnny, but for all the other kids in the house. They saw me interacting with Johnny and being there when he was being bad. And Johnny saw me interacting and being there no matter what the behavior was. I did this over and over and over again, the next night and the next night and the next night. And as I said, it was before smartphones, so there was a bit of pain. But the gain came in when it took 4 hours the first night, 3 hours the next night, and all of a sudden it was half an hour. I realized I was building trust. Johnny started to trust that I was going to be there no matter his behavior. And the other kids started to trust that I was going to help them and keep them safe from Johnny. Now, this didn't just take time, it took a bit of planning and a complete change in perspective for me. The planning came into play because Johnny did have some pretty extreme behaviors, and the change in perspective was applicable when I was dealing with consequencing these kids. This solution didn't just happen at bedtime either. I used it at dinner time, out on the playground, but this is where the planning comes into place. I needed a place to contain the kids and their behavior. If they were making bad choices, I needed to make sure that they were safe as well as the other kids were safe. So I used their bedrooms. I used that because instead of ordering a kid to their bedroom, I would say, let's go to your room and let's solve this problem. And I also did it because I could take out the hard toys and put in soft toys. It hurts less getting hit in the head with a stuffy than it does a truck. Another struggle I had was when I first started, I believed that if I said go to your room, kids should just go to their room. If I said stop eating or stop talking or stop doing this or that, regardless of the day they had, I believed that they should just do it. Again, I realized pretty quickly I wasn't taking into account the things that we do when we've had a bad day. TV, internet, Facebook. And so this is where my change in perspective comes into play. Rather than being demanding and saying, you have to stop this, everything stops until you solve the problem, I started working with the kids and saying, hey, listen, let's solve this problem together. I'm going to teach you how to use Facebook to calm down. I'm going to teach you how to use your iPod to calm down. I'm going to teach you how to play games and sure, shoot somebody. But at the end of it, we'll talk about what happened. And it worked. My flip enabled those kids to go calm down, not act out towards me, not spit at me or hit me or bite me, but to channel their behavior into something more productive. What I got was a kid willing to work with me. Now, there were days that it felt like I was Sisyphus pushing the rock up the mountain forever, or other days that felt like everything I was saying was falling on deaf ears because they're 10 and they can't say, hey, I'm feeling really pissed off today. But I promise you, over time, from experience, over time, if you teach kids how to calm themselves down and enable them to do it, you will see a massive shift in their behavior. If you teach kids that they're worth your time and let them know that you want to spend your time with them, you will see a massive change in behavior. Time wasn't the best weapon because it helped me best these kids. Time wasn't my best weapon because it allowed me to beat these kids. Time was my best weapon because it transformed these kids from my adversary into my partner. And I promise you, if you have any kids at all, show them that your time is something you want to spend on them, and you will have an absolutely different kid on your hands. Thank you.